Well, here we are at the site of the luxurious Crags Hotel after about a 45-minute climb up Rattlesnake Gulch Trail in Eldorado Canyon State Park. 45 minutes is taking it easy with lots of stops to catch your breath and admire the scenery. There's an elevation gain of about 1,000 feet coming up here from the beginning of Rattlesnake Gulch Trail. And you're rewarded with a historical marker that gives you some information about the Crags Hotel. Hard to believe it now, but this used to be a major site for tourists and a very nice hotel from 1908 to 1912. You could either come up here by using your, I guess, T-model Ford or whatever was around at that time. And there was even a branch of the Colorado Automobile Club that was here. Here you can see a map showing the guest houses, the main hotel, and the fountain and the Colorado Automobile Club clubhouse. Now, people could also come up using a funicular, which is an inclined railway. In this particular one, people were pulled up by water. By some ingenious way, the water was channeled so that it would pull a train. And so you can see this is a picture of one of those old cars. I guess it might have been a Ford coming up the trail. Hard to imagine that now because the trail is fairly narrow and fairly steep, but I guess people used to do it. Now let's take a walk through the site of the hotel. Now we're going to be walking towards the fountain here, and there used to be guest rooms over here on the left, and of course all of this has vanished now. You can still see the what remains of the fountain. Of course, no water bubbling up in it now, just the remains filled with lots of debris of bricks. And from the fountain you look out this way and you can see the former site of the Colorado Auto Club's clubhouse that was up here. Again, very hard to find any trace. And let's walk through the grounds of the hotel. Right now we're kind of in the I guess patio part of the hotel. It was surrounded on three sides by buildings, and we're going to come to a drop-off in a big flat area here, which is where the main hotel was once located. And you can just imagine that the views from up here must have been fantastic. People dressed in their best clothes, didn't have to worry about getting up here. They just took a little funicular to come up. Here's one of the few remnants that you can see. This is the site of what used to be the kitchen fireplace. And from what I read on the plaque, they didn't have a problem with getting rid of garbage. They just tossed it over the side, and apparently there's a pretty big debris field down there. Well, let's walk. We would have been actually inside the hotel right now. Of course, nothing remains, but it is a big flat pad. Now we're coming up to what was probably the main fireplace in the grand room of the hotel. I would have imagined that this facade of the fireplace hidden behind a tree was the main fireplace, and then out here you probably had very comfortable leather chairs and leather sofas and people being served all sorts of drinks and pastries and whatnot. And this was probably the other side of the fireplace where I guess the chimney once stood. And they had large windows from this grand room of the hotel looking out onto absolutely spectacular scenery. I imagine that most of these trees had been removed, although I'm not sure, because they do tend to obstruct the view, and I'm sure that the owners of the hotel didn't want to deprive their guests of a grand view of Eldorado Canyon. Now, from this angle you can see the rock facades where people do rock climbing now. It's one of the premier rock climbing sites in the world. And it's hard to believe that about 100 years ago there was a hotel here. And you had guests dressed in their finery, sipping sherry or port, or maybe a nice scotch, and looking out over this magnificent view and being served very nice meals. It's nice now, but somehow seems that something's missing. Here's the backdrop. You can see that there's still a little snow on the peaks, but the trail now is very clear. It's late April 2010, and we have had some snow recently, but at these elevations, probably about 7,000, 7,500 feet, I would guess. We don't have any snow. You'd have to go up to higher elevations to get still lots of snow and ice.